What is up, YouTube? Chase Oliver 68 here, and I just got finished watching UFC 132 live on pay-per-view. My friend's in the background here, so if you hear noises that are not my voice, that's him. He's going to try to make me laugh, but I'm going to make sure he doesn't. But anyways, we got a great night of fights for you. I enjoyed it, so let's get started. He's making me laugh right now, but we're going to keep on going. First fight we had of the evening, we had Carlos Condit versus the undefeated Don Hyun Kim. Boy, this fight was interesting the first round, but Carlos Condit, he was like, bam, not today. Knee to the face, knockout. Don Hyun Kim no longer undefeated, and Carlos Condit gets a win, and Condit's claiming for a title shot. I don't know if the title shot's in your future yet. We have to wait and see who wins that Diaz GSP type of thing, but I can see Condit being a threat in the welterweight. He defeated Don Hyun Kim in the first round. Good fight, entertaining for what it was worth. Next up, we get my boy, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz versus Ryan Darth Bader. And Bader, you know, he looked unimpressive in his last performance against John Jones. It was terrible how bad Ryan Bader looked. It didn't look like a Ryan Bader. And Tito Ortiz, this was it. If he would have lost this fight, he was done. Dana White said, you're gone from the UFC if you lost that damn fight. Tito Ortiz stepped up his game. He got clipped only once this fight. But then Tito, he was pissed off. Hit Bader with a mean hook. Goes for the guillotine. Tito Ortiz buries Ryan Bader. Tito Ortiz picks up the win here. Probably puts himself back at number 10 in the light heavyweight division. Don't know yet. We have to wait until see the rankings. But congratulations on Tito. It's great that we're not seeing another career end. Around this time last year, Chuck Liddell's career ended. And as we all saw last April, Randy Couture's career was ended. So Tito, you keep on fighting. I hope you keep it up. Very good fight for Tito Ortiz. But a career kind of did end tonight. I'll get on to that when we get to that fight. But Ryan Bader, he really needs to work on his game plan. His chin is not what I thought it would be. And not only that, he needs to work on his wrestling. His wrestling, for being a D1 Pac-10 champion, I know the Pac-10 is not a very good wrestling division when it comes to college wrestling. But to be a D1 Pac-10 champion and not really produce that well when it came to wrestling, man, you got to work that out. And he needs to work on a submission defense. So I feel Bader, you have the striking capabilities to knock people out, but you got to get that ground game going. That's about it. So then we get this fight. This should have been the first fight on the card of the night, but we get Dennis Siver, the German dude. He can't even speak English, but he's a German dude versus Matt Wyman. Dennis Siver, he's been around the UFC. People didn't know his name until he beat G-Sot, George Sautopoulos, who got knocked the fuck out earlier in the prelims. Hate G-Sot. G-Sot sucks. But besides that, Matt Wyman, I thought Matt Wyman won the fight. So the first round went with Matt Wyman basically being more aggressive than Dennis Siver. You know, this fight for the first round, it could have gone either way, but I had Matt Wyman winning it, especially with that last-minute takedown. I thought that sealed the deal for Matt Wyman, but I guess not, because in the second round, both men, after a very good first round, were kind of just trying to play a takedown battle. Fans were not digging it, but then Matt Wyman, he hates when he hears boos, so he gets all aggressive, takes down Dennis Siver, lands some vicious elbows, and Dennis Siver's face is fucked up. He is bleeding like crazy. And Matt Wyman controlled that whole round. Definitely Matt Wyman's round. Then the third round, this is where it gets interesting. Dennis Siver kind of had the third round in the wraps because in the end of the third round, you know, the third round was Matt Wyman. He kind of got a little cocky. He felt good. He was like, you know what, I'm winning this fight. I don't really need to try. So Matt Wyman, you know, he just kind of like tried different stuff. He tried a Superman punch. He tried to do all this crazy moves, and ended up near the end of the third round, Dennis Siver catches him, looks to finish the fight, couldn't finish it. But the thing that pissed me off was, and like I said, the first round could have gone either way. It was depending on the first round. Dennis Siver won the fight. Now people are going to be like, why are you pissed that Dennis Siver won the fight? Matt Wyman should have won the fight because isn't it in the UFC it's great graded on aggressiveness and octagon control? I really don't think that was a good, you know, I didn't really think Dennis Siver was as aggressive as Matt Wyman that round, but it is what it is. Dennis Siver wins. Probably puts him in good lightweight contention in that stacked UFC lightweight division. And Matt Wyman, I hope there's an automatic rematch because that's a fight I would love to see again. And then we move on to the co-main event of the evening, which featured the crippler Chris Lieben and Vanderlei, the axe murderer Siver. You know, this fight, I told people, you guys like slugfests, this would be this fight. And as Chris Lieben said in his post-fight interview, he hit me in that switch and I got knocked the fuck out. Pretty much that was the case because Vanderlei Silva came in, slugged it out, and he hit Chris Lieben in that little button right here. Chris Lieben's like, nah, 4 straight uppercuts, bam. He just said power right in the kisser, my friend, in a whispering voice. But Matt Wyman, he knocks the, last fight. Chris Lieben knocks the fuck out of Wanderlei Silva. And what's next for Bandy? I mean, the dude hasn't fought since his Bisping fight. This was his first fight back since his Bisping fight. So I don't know what's next for Wanderlei Silva. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what is next, but we will have to wait and see. Chris Lieben, though, keep on rolling, baby. I would like to see you fight Brian Stann again if that's in the schedule. I do believe now that you were sick against Brian Stann because you looked a hell of a lot better taking the punches from Wanderlei Silva, who I believe is a harder hitter than Brian Stann, than you did in the last time you fought Brian Stann. So I would like to see you fight Brian Stann again. That would be an interesting fight. So now we get on to the main event of the evening, the Bantamweight Championship fight between my boy Uriah Faber. This is a Uriah Faber t-shirt from SilverStar.com. Buy SilverStar.com. Go to that website. Great MMA clothing. I love most of their shirts. But anyways, Uriah Faber and the current champion Dominick Cruz. Very great fight. Great fight throughout the whole thing. This fight, it had me guessing who was going to win. I didn't know who was going to win, to be honest with you. When I was trying to grade the rounds myself, I was jumping back and forth. But I think the judges made the right call. I'm a Faber fan, and I'm saying it. You know, I thought Faber had a couple rounds. No way this fight was scored 50-45. I don't know who scored that. I agreed with the 49-48 call, and I agree with the 49-46 call. I think that's what someone scored it. I don't know how he got 49-46 out of this, but I agree with those calls because I believe that was that type of fight. No way did Dominick Cruz control all 5 rounds. But this fight was very exhilarating. Great fight for the main event. You know, this is a great way for the bantamweights, especially in the UFC's 4th of July show, their second biggest show of the year, in my opinion, one of their biggest shows of the year. It's a good way to end the night off with this bantamweight showing, the first ever bantamweight main event since the WC merger. And like Joe Rogan said, or Mike Goldberg said, 10 years since the first WEC fight was tonight, or a day after, who knows. But very great title fight. Enjoyed it. Sucks my boy lost, but hey, you can't win them all. So yeah, Dominick Cruz won the fight. Now, this card proved interesting. The prelims were actually pretty good. I didn't go over the prelims mainly because I didn't watch most of them, but I watched a couple of them. You know, the 2 on Spike where G-Sock got his ass kicked. Yes. And Melvin Gillard. Damn, Shane Roller. What's up with you, son? But anyways, that was about it. So, if I were to grade UFC 132 as a whole, I would give it an A. I thought it was a very good show by the UFC. Once again, the UFC is producing good shows. Seriously, 128 was a good show. 129 was a good show besides the main event. 130 I thought was a very good show. You know, underrated by many people. Many who didn't really like 130. I thought it was a good show. And 131, you know, that was a good show in itself. It was a very entertaining show, and this proved no other. If you're a fan of those, you know, first round of quick fights that are exciting, this was a show for you. And with the main event that went the distance, I would love to see Cruz versus Faber again, because in the bantamweight division, who else is there? But anyways, if you guys like this video, subscribe up above for more MMA, wrestling, news, and whatever content you guys like to see. Comment down below your thoughts on the fight. Like or dislike this video. Follow me on Twitter. Add me on Skype. I am Chase Oliver 68, coming up close to the camera, and I say...